From the Timex Performance Center at the Giants Training Complex, I'm Mark Hale with Steve Serby here as we get set to talk about Giants-Cowboys battle for the NFC East Division title here in Week 13 of the NFL season. And let's start, Steve, with the quarterback, Eli Manning. Something that you wrote in one of your columns this week was about when you rank the quarterbacks in the NFL, you have Eli as 4, behind Rodgers, behind Breeze, behind Brady, but ahead of Tony Romo. They've got pretty similar stats. Tell me why Eli's ahead of him.
Well, ahead of Ben Roethlisberger also,
right.
Who I think is number 5. Romo, maybe he's in the top 12, I would say, but okay. Romo hasn't won a Super Bowl, okay, and he's won 1 playoff game,
right,
and he still does things that make you scratch your head as a head coach or as a fan. So, you know, in a big game situation, especially in the fourth quarter, you got to go with Eli Manning. Asked Tom Brady about that.
Yeah. Now, both these guys, Romo and Manning, will get some weapons back this week, it looks like. Mario Manningham's missed the last 2 games. Looks like he'll return for the Giants. Miles Austin's been out a while. Looks like he'll return for the Cowboys. What does the return of both these receivers, Steve, do to both teams' offenses, especially in the passing game, obviously?
Well, you know, Romo's safety blanket is always going to be Jason Witten.
Right.
But the return of Miles Austin gives him a reliable guy who runs the precise routes, which you cannot say the same thing about Des Bryant.
Right.
As gifted as he is, he sometimes can drive Romo crazy.
Right.
But Lauren Robinson, another guy who I still think will be a factor in the passing game. But Giants have to get to Romo, period.
Right.
Because he has all these weapons.
And Austin can stretch the field, too.
Yes, he can. But also, DeMarco Murray only had 12 carries last week.
Okay.
Jason Garrett, I believe, is going to force feed him this week because every time he carries 20 or more times, the Cowboys seem to win. Plus, Murray gets his blocking fullback back, Tony Fiametta. Now, when Fiametta was blocking, he's been out the last 3 games with an inner ear infection.
Okay. With
Fiametta leading the way for Murray, he became a back that Jerry Jones compared to Eric Dickerson, which of course he's not, but but that's Jerry Jones.
Right.
But I think the Cowboys are going to try to force the run down the Giants, which makes Linval Joseph all that more important.
Very valuable on that defensive line interior. Now, speaking of lines, obviously the line of scrimmage, Giants' offensive line, I mean, just continues to be ravaged with injuries here. Last week, the Giants find out just a few hours before the game, David Boss is out, so they've got to have Booth at center.
Intense headaches.
Which
is what I'm getting from dealing with you
right, so
on this video.
We'll see if you're questionable for Sunday night as well. So they got Petrus and Kevin Booth as 2/5 of that starting offensive line, and they've got DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer and Jay Ratliff that they got to block.
Yeah, good luck. But Petrus, in his defense, infected the whole Giant line with energy. The guy's like an Energizer bunny,
right.
And he's a powerful guy, and he's the kind of guy the Giants like to be an offensive lineman because he gives them that smash mouth presence. Now the question is, what's going to happen when he's got 80, 90, 100,000 people screaming at him in the heat of battle in a game that means everything? You know, but again, that's where Eli Manning comes in too, who basically is the brains of the entire operation.
But how, I mean, and look, obviously he's going against, last week the Giants are going against B.J. Raji, undefeated Packers.
Right.
It seems like this Cowboy defense is on a little bit different level than the Green Bay one.
I'm not worried about Petrus and Booth so much as I am David Deal with DeMarcus Ware.
Right.
I mean, DeMarcus Ware can ruin a game the same way JPP can ruin a game for the Giants. So it starts with DeMarcus Ware blocking him and keeping him away off Eli, so Eli can throw to Victor Cruz, story of the year.
Yes, sir.
And Hakeem Nicks and Manningham.
Now, what about this? The Giants, obviously, with another injury in their defensive backfield now. Kenny Phillips
hasn't been ruled out.
But it looks doubtful that he'll play on Sunday night, which probably means Tyler Sash.
It does mean Tyler Sash.
Tyler Sash. So, you know, another rookie that they'll count on, a late-round pick for this team. And again, you know, we know this Dallas passing game, especially with, like you said, the safety blanket, Witten, the tight end. That's usually something a safety will handle, or a fast linebacker. The Giants could play Williams on him. But Tyler Sash, that's a lot of responsibility for Sunday night.
Yeah, it is. They like Sash, but again, the key is getting heat on Romo because the Giant defense is predicated on that front 4.
Yes.
So Tollefson is back. He had that knee contusion. He'll be playing.
Tucks look better.
Tuck looked very good last week against the Packers.
Right.
Perry Fuel believes that the Giants are ready for a big game.
Now, last week I doubted you, which I've
never.
It's my own fault. Steve and I, if you guys remember, obviously we disagreed over Giants Packers last week. I thought this was going to be a rout and Green Bay was going to win big. You thought correctly it was going to be a close game. So now Sunday night, Giants Cowboys. What are we looking at?
31-28 Giants is my pick.
Okay.
I think that Ahmad Bradshaw is going to help keep Tony Romo off the field, and Eli will make the plays that Eli makes in the clutch, and the front four will harass Romo enough to eke out a victory.
Okay, so Steve likes the Giants in a close, high-scoring shootout. I'll go Dallas 27-24, which means the Giants are really looking at the wild card if they want to make the playoffs.
Well, and speaking of the wild, I'm glad you brought that up. I did my own permutations.
Okay.
Consulted with the NFL.
Right.
And
I'm sure these are right.
If the Giants lose their last 4 games, they can still make it as a wild card.
Come on.
You really bought that?
I'll never doubt you again, but I'm going to doubt you here. Giants Cowboys Sunday night from Dallas. Steve will be there. You can follow everything that he says and writes on Twitter at NYPost_Serby. And obviously you can follow me on Twitter at HailMark. And you can read both of us in the New York Post on Sunday. I don't know what you're pointing to here. Well, what's that?
It's the wild card.
Oh, well, we'll see what your
permutations
end up being. Yeah. This is a blank sheet, much like his head. For Steve, I'm Mark. Talk to you soon.